Hi guys, this is Rachel Silber and I am here on the balcony with Canella the cat behind me, somewhere over there. Continuing today's reading of Prosperity Consciousness by this lovely couple, Stephen and Chutisa Bowman. They are amazing contributions to anyone and everyone who crosses their paths. They are amazing. Hop on over to their website. I think it's the2bowmans.com, or you can find them on the Access Consciousness website, www.accessconsciousness.com. Just have a look for them. Stephen and Chutisa Bowman are such an amazing invitation to being the wealth of you, the prosperity of you, the possibility that you can be out in the world. And I am continuing reading from my well-loved, well-highlighted, well-dog-eared book. This is, I think we got up to chapter 4 yesterday, so I think this is officially 5, although these don't have numbers. It's called Living in and as the Question. In this chapter, Chutisa explains the following concepts: the power of living in and as the question. Asking questions creates an invitation for the universe to provide what else is possible. Worrying about the answer versus focusing on the question, and questions that attract the people, circumstances, and opportunities that you desire. Conscious creation is about creating by living in and as the question. This is an incredibly powerful attracting energy to bring you the people, circumstances, and opportunities that you desire in your life. Living in and as the question means using questions to bypass the limited answers that your mind provides. Hi, Karina. Where was I? See, I get distracted. That's so much fun. Squirrel. Oh, living in and as the question means using questions to bypass the limited answers that your mind provides. A question creates the possibilities of things, not the limitations. Man, that should be a meme. I'm gonna have to make a graphic of that one. A question creates the possibilities of things, not the limitations. A question allows you to see beyond the conventional concepts. When you live in and as the question, then you engage a powerful universal force that will assist you to realize that endeavor. Questions help you facilitate the changes that you desire. They help you overcome the obstacles and enable you to function from your knowing. Living in and as the question allows you to create your life with awareness. If I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depended on the solution, I would spend the first 55 minutes determining the proper question to ask. For once I knew the proper question, I could solve the problem in less than 5 minutes. Many people are looking for answers and not asking the wisest questions. Quote by Albert Einstein. Asking questions creates an invitation. Steve and I are able to create our lives more consciously when we live in and as the question. When we're faced with challenging situations, instead of becoming vested in finding answers or solutions, we cultivate an attitude of curiosity. I call it being a Wonder Woman. Rather than trying to prove our answers are right, we allow new possibilities to manifest in our lives by asking questions. When we live in and as the question, then we create an invitation for the universe to provide. Now let us share with you an example of how we've used questions to create our reality. At one stage of writing this book, our accountant informed us that due to us having had a very successful year, there was a large sum of income tax that we had to pay within a few weeks. Previously, we would have been greatly distressed at having to pay this hefty sum of money right away in one payment. We would have become panic-stricken, trying to figure out, wow, how to get more money quickly. We would have dwelled on the wrongness of the situation. We would have assumed all kinds of limited ideas such as, well, the only way we can create extra money immediately is... This would have locked us up in finite rather than allowing for the infinite possibilities that were available to us. In this instant, instead of moaning, "What's wrong?" we asked questions. How does it get any better than this? What's right about this that we're not getting? Those questions put us into the infinite instead of finite and allowed us to become aware of what was possible. When we asked the question, what is right about this that we're not getting? And we started to look at what was good about the situation rather than looking at what was bad. This question asks for the awareness and unlimited capacity to perceive and receive. Living in and as the question showed us that this tax was a recognition of how successful we had been. Instead of judging it as an imposition and a burden, we chose to celebrate it instead. By changing our perspective about the income tax, we allowed ourselves to receive even more income. By living in and as the question, we created an invitation. And then we asked another question. What would it take for at least blank to show up with ease? The next day, we got a phone call from an old client that we had not heard from in over 18 months. He asked us to come and shake their board of directors out of their self-imposed limitations. 2 days later, 2 different organizations called, asking us to conduct conscious strategic planning workshops for them. We never met any of these people before. Over the next week, almost daily, unexpected requests and proposals for assignments arrived via email or phone. We were able to pay the taxes from what we made on just 2 of these jobs. We're now willing to pay massive amounts of income tax because that means that we can receive colossal amounts of money and income. And how does it get any better than this? Can you see how this works? It was clear that we immediately required more money than we had imagined. Well, boom, a day later, we had landed a substantial assignment that would provide the extra money with ease. The next day, another 2 people called to engage us for workshop facilitation. What was the secret? Well, by choosing to live as the question, we were able to perceive outside a fixed view of reality and beyond the limited and elusive content of thought. When we asked what would it take for at least blank, fill in the quantity of money, to show up with ease, then we allowed the universe to provide opportunities for that to happen. When we chose to live as the question, rather than being besieged by problems or becoming vested in finding answers and solutions, then we allowed the universe to provide a response that was greater than anything that we could determine or imagine. Don't worry about the answer. Focus on the question. How many times have you told yourself, if you wanted to have more money, that you wanted to have more money, and then you got busy trying to figure out how you could generate it? Apparently, Annabeth agrees. Hi, honey. I think the pug is next door, and she's having a conversation. I'll let her bark it out, and then I'll read. Hi. Yes, I know, the pug is there. The pug's really exciting. Yeah. Hey, Annabeth. Hello. All right, tone it down, okay? I'm reading. Thank you. Unless you'd like to read, and then you're welcome to come over here and read with me. All right, don't worry about the answers. Focus on the question. How many times have you told yourself that you wanted to have more money and then you got busy trying to figure out how to generate it? Did you end up with more money? Or did you end up apprehensive or panicky? So please recognize that I want to have more money and I must have this are not questions. Da-ding. That one took me a while. When we're not able to figure out the how, then you may tend to assume that a situation can't possibly turn out well. Or if you're able to create some money, but not the amount that you require, then you may become disappointed, disillusioned, or even upset. When you do this, you stop the money flow altogether. Doink. Instead of trying to figure things out, ask, well, what would it take for such and such amount of money, fill in the blank, whatever it works for you, to show up? The universe will give you opportunities for that to happen. And in this way, unlimited potential and infinite possibilities will emerge in ways that you may have never imagined. There are infinite possibilities and ways in which things can manifest. Action is just a means to an end. When you live as the question, rather than trying to figure out the answer, then you allow the universe to give you an answer. And this answer is always greater than anything that you could figure out. When you ask a question, things start to show up in magical ways. Questions open up new possibilities. They allow you to perceive outside a fixed and limited view of reality and beyond the limited and elusive content of thought. Hi, cutie. Do you want to sit down with me? Hello. Hi. Hi. Would you like to sit here and contribute? Not by barking, please. Don't worry about the answer. Focus on the questions. Learn to love the questions themselves. The magic is this. If you ask questions with sincerity and earnestness, then your life itself will become a living response to them. You will start living as the question. Living as a question is powerful. If your questions are infinite and you really don't know the answers, then you set the stage for previously unthinkable leaps of consciousness. And when you open up to genuine wonder, then you step out of the zone of the known and into the infinite creative possibilities of the unknown. Replacing negative thoughts with unlimited questions. Well, by living in the question, I'm able to be totally present and function in the simultaneity of past, present, and future. I'm not influenced unconsciously by past events or even future concerns. When I ask a non-linear and unlimited question, if I don't have a preconceived idea of an expected outcome or answer, then I set the stage for receiving insights otherwise unattainable. Whenever I have negative and unproductive thoughts, I feel besieged by problems or become vested in finding answers and solutions, then I ask unlimited questions. What is it that I'm not getting about this? What am I unwilling to receive here? Apparently, I'm unwilling to receive the barking. Hey, Annabeth, chill. Let's see if she'll work with that. What is it that I'm not getting about this? What am I unwilling to receive here? Fucking fun. What am I pretending not to know about? What am I denying that I know about? Now, fill in the blank. What would it take for blank to happen? What are the infinite possibilities that this will work out better than I could ever imagine? These questions are exceptional tools for discovering the appropriate response to situations or problems. When I ask these types of questions, then things start to show up for me in different ways. The more I ask questions, the more aware that I become of options and the possibilities that I have. Asking questions to get out of a sticky situation. When we were in Perth, Western Australia, conducting conscious leadership seminars, the CEO of the retail division of a major financial organization shared with us that he was disturbed by a situation related to his staff. He had just received a legal letter and was feeling depressed and bitter about the situation. And we suggested that he ask himself a question. Probably not the most comfortable question on the planet, but a really good one. How did I create this? The question is helpful because it exposes the unconscious side of a situation. However, the CEO became agitated when we suggested that he ask himself this question. He didn't like the idea that he'd created the situation that he was in. He thought that asking the question meant that he had to take the blame for the situation. And we explained to him that the question was not about blame, shame, fault, or guilt. We encouraged him to recognize that if he was experiencing a limitation or a difficulty in his life, there had to be something that he was unwilling to perceive. In truth, if anything in his life was not working, it was because he was unwilling to perceive, know, be, or receive something. Until he was able to acknowledge that he was responsible for his reality, then he didn't have the power to change it. We suggested that he ask, "How did I create this?" as a way of empowering himself. We explained that he became a victim of the situation when he searched for someone to blame. He became the master of his situation when he claimed and acknowledged that he was the creator of his reality. And as we worked with him, he saw that the question, "How did I create this?" would allow him to become open to receiving everything in his life and work, no matter what it might look like. This was a major transformation for him, and he stated, "Wow, I now see more clearly what my choices are, and I feel empowered." A question to use on a daily basis. Oh, you're welcome, Santa Maria. A question to use on a daily basis. When Steve and I became frustrated with our circumstances and can't see our options clearly, we often ask this question: how does it get any better than this? You can even turn it into a song. How does it get any better than this? This is a great question to use on a daily basis. Asking it is one of the fastest ways to lighten the energy of a situation. It's the ticket for getting out of the places where we're stuck. And when we find ourselves having some kind of difficulty or involved in an incongruity, or even if we're feeling agitated, wary, out of sorts, the best way to lighten the energy of anything is to ask, how does it get any better than this? And when we use this question, we invite the universe to tell us or show us how it gets better. And this is how we get out of trauma and drama that we create for ourselves. We also use, how does it get any better than this, when things are working out well and we're feeling great? This question keeps inviting the universe to show us that there are infinite possibilities greater than anything we can imagine. Recently, we had an amazing experience of the power of asking this question. We were planning to attend an Access workshop in Brisbane, and at the last minute, we decided to leave one night earlier than planned. When we arrived and went to check into our favorite hotel, I was told that they did not have a booking until the next day. I suddenly realized that I'd forgotten to change our hotel booking. The hotel manager, who knows us well because we stay at that hotel regularly, told us that he was very sorry, but he didn't have any room for us. They were completely sold out for the night. I couldn't help but laugh as I asked out loud in front of the manager, "Well, how does it get any better than this? What else is possible?" And I had no expectations of the hotel manager doing anything to fix the situation. I was asking the questions so that the universe could give me an awareness of what else is possible. The manager asked us to wait a moment, as he would see if there was something else that he could do for us. We thought he was going to check with another hotel across town for availability, and instead, he returned with a room key and said, "Please, enjoy." We expressed our gratitude to him, pleased that we did not have to change hotels. We happily took the elevator up to our room, which was located on the top floor. When we got to the room, we discovered that the manager had given us the executive suite. We said to each other, "Wow, this is awesome. How does it get any better than this?" We immediately went down to thank the manager for his kindness, and when we did, he told us with a broad smile on his face, "You are most welcome. Oh, and I forgot to mention that you can have the room at the regular room rate." We thanked him again and received his gift with gratitude. As we went up to our room in the elevator, we said to each other, "How did we get so lucky? How does it get any better than this?" The next morning, when we went to the hotel reception to check our original booking, there was a message from the manager saying he would love for us to stay in the executive suite for the duration of our visit. Well, 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 How does it get any better than that? Love these questions. Tools that you can use to attract people, circumstances, and opportunities that you desire. Remember, this is a freaking awesome book because they've got tools, they've got tips, and all sorts of handy shortcuts at the end of the book, or at the end of each chapter, right, for you. So it's really like super easy to get to the tools. You don't even have to search for them in between the readings. So anyway, summarizing it, tools that you can use to attract people, circumstances, and opportunities that you desire. Ask questions to create an invitation for the universe to provide. Things to do. When you're faced with a challenging situation, cultivate an attitude of curiosity. Be I Wonder Woman or I Wonder Man. Allow for the infinite possibilities that are available to you by asking questions. And here are some questions to ask. How does it get any better than this? What's right about this that I'm not getting? What would it take for blank to show up with ease? What's it gonna take to get blank? What's it gonna take to create blank? What's it gonna take to have blank? What's it gonna take for blank to happen? Replace negative thoughts with unlimited questions. Something to do. Discover appropriate responses to challenging situations and become aware of options and possibilities by asking questions. And here are some questions to ask. 1, what am I not getting about this? 2, what am I unwilling to receive here? Every time I ask that question, that freaking pug next door barks. So funny. 3, what am I pretending not to know about blank? 4, what am I denying that I know about blank? 5, what would it take for blank to happen? What are the infinite possibilities that this will work out better than I could ever imagine? And how did I create this? When things are working out well, invite the universe to provide possibilities greater than anything you can imagine. And a great question to ask would be, how does it get any better than this? And how does it? Love this book. Love, 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 love this book. Now it is based on the Access Consciousness tools. This is written by Chutisa and Stephen Bowman, but with lots of input from Gary Douglas. And so if you guys don't have this book, I'm going to put a link in the comments to make it super easy. I'm sure you can find it in an Amazon, Kindle, Access website, anywhere you know something's going to contribute to your life and living. Following the energy. In this chapter, Chutisa discusses the following ideas. Following the energy, receiving what the universe is sharing with you, letting go of control and past programming, using force and effort versus following the energy, and tools that you can use to create your business, career, or work situations. Not to mention anything and everything else in your life, right? Leading yourself to money with consciousness is about following energy rather than using force and effort as a way of making things occur in your life. When Steve and I began to create our business, we did it by being in control. Now, control meant making sure that everything happened exactly as we wanted it to. Steve had an interesting belief that we had to work hard to create money. Much of what he believed to be true about work came from past programming that dated back to his childhood. And he often insisted, well, we have to be busy, we have to be busy, we have to work hard and put in long hours. And as a result, we put a lot of energy, exertion, force, and effort into our work to make sure that we were on top of everything. I'd call that blood, sweat, and tears. We made our work meaningful and significant. And this is always a mistake because whenever we make something meaningful and significant, we create commitments, limitations, burdens, and obligations. We don't allow any choice in our lives. we hold ourselves captive with what we make significant. Now, we assume that if we didn't put a lot of effort into promoting our business, then we couldn't be successful. We had a business plan and processes that dictated precisely what our business should look like. We spent a lot of money to print brochures and promotional materials. Since we believe that success is equal to hard work, we had an extensive list of things that had to get done every day. We put conditions, structures, and significances on our creations. With those conditions and points of view, we didn't allow anything that did not fit our fixed ideas to show up. We were extremely busy being busy. We were using force and effort to make things happen. Can you imagine how much energy was required of us as we attempted to control everything in order to make our business successful? Enormous amounts. We were so busy controlling every aspect of our business that we limited what we could create and what we could receive. When we started to use the access tools, then we became aware that in our attempts to control everything, we were actually pitting our energy against the universe. Cuckoo, cuckoo. Letting go of control. Once Steve and I became aware that we were doing things by control, we knew we had to observe our points of view and destroy and uncreate those points of view that were limiting us. We began to look at the unconscious conditioning that had trapped us in a cycle of hard work and dissatisfaction. We also looked at the ways that we were conditioned to be in an endless chase for more. The idea of looking at our limited points of view was not about sitting in judgment of ourselves. No, it was about becoming aware of how we had created our reality. What we were looking for was how to create more consciousness with our lives and how to create more money with our work. We had to train ourselves to give up being in control and instead to follow the energy. Following the energy is about receiving. Following the energy is about being willing to receive the information that's available. It's about being open to what the universe is sharing with us. Following the energy involves asking questions so that the universe has an avenue for responding. The universe is an unlimited place with unlimited possibilities. It will provide unlimited opportunities and possibilities if we will ask questions. Now, Steve and I have let go of doing business based on hard work method and its step-by-step kind of linear construct. We now create from receiving, and we do this by asking the universe a question. What are the infinite possibilities of having clients show up who are willing to pay us lots of money to help them shift their paradigms and let go of their limitations? And since we've been asking this question, all sorts of great clients who are willing to let go of their limitations and expand themselves in their businesses have shown up. We've also been applying the principles of following the energy and living as a question to conduct our business differently. Now, instead of saying, I want my business to grow and flourish, or I want to sell more books and audiobooks, we ask questions. Well, what are the infinite possibilities of becoming two of the most sought after business and leadership facilitators and keynote presenters in the world? And what would it take for our conscious leadership book to be known to all the people who are seeking to be conscious? Brilliant book, by the way, in case you guys haven't read that one. And what's it going to take for our conscious leadership book to become well known all over the world? What are the infinite possibilities for blank to happen? Asking questions that will facilitate the outcomes that we desire. Now, since Steve and I have chosen to follow the energy and live in question instead of the answer, we've been able to function from our knowing. Learning how to ask the right question has been the most important skill that we've acquired. We've discovered that we can request that the universe, what a concept, request that the universe help us ask questions that will facilitate the outcomes that we desire. What would it take for me to ask the right questions for this business to appear? I like that. What would it take for me to ask the right questions to make a correct decision? What would it take for me to ask the right questions to get blank accomplished? We also choose to be open to this energy and follow it when we conduct business meetings, conference keynote presentations, and workshops. Instead of having a fixed plan or a structure, we notice which direction the energy is going, and we follow it. This leads to a lot of transformation for people who attend our sessions. I will say that as a person who's attended their sessions, hell yes. And if you haven't attended one of their sessions, damn, what you waiting for? Following the energy and living in the question are a much more expansive way of creating work. We've discovered that when we function from expansiveness and possibilities, those are what show up. The more we live in and as the question, the more opportunities are showing up in our lives. Stop making it so significant. When I first learned to follow the energy, I became very good at perceiving the energy of everything around me. However, I used to make everything significant. Early last year, we worked with a CEO who was having a major upheaval in his organization and in his own personal life. When Steve and I were coaching him, I could perceive his anguish, his unhappiness, and his distress. And after every session, I was just exhausted and in physical pain. After hearing Gary and Dane talk about their experience of following energy, I realized that in working with this CEO, I was making the energy that I had experienced significant. Now, I bought the pain I perceived as my own pain. When I perceived physical pain or a painful emotion, I used to create a belief that that's the way it is. And then I made the belief solid and real. To demonstrate my point, let us say that the people around you have the point of view that there are unlimited amounts of money and resources. That there are limited amounts of money and resources in the world. There just isn't enough for everyone. You perceive this point of view, but rather than recognizing it as someone else's point of view, you buy it as real and true. You think it's a fact. You may start to believe that the problem of poverty is unsolvable, and as a result, you perceive scarcity and lack in the world. Well, because of your perception, you create a belief that poverty and lack is the way life is. And then you accept and expect that some people will have what they need and others will not. In our work as business advisors, Steve and I have seen many organizations, large and small, conduct their business according to limiting points of view based on erroneous, long-established business models. Quite often, these business practices entail traditional ways of looking at things that are not true. They're just concepts that appear to be true. For example, business people might buy into a lie like, this is the right way or the best way to do things because we've always done it this way. They then attempt to create their business based on that lie. Can they create truth out of it? Certainly not. Certainly not. They keep crashing into the limits of their own unawareness, which leads them to disappointment, dissatisfaction, and deprivation. Since people are usually not conscious of the reason for their limitations or disappointments, they rummage around for someone or something to blame. Frequently, they end up concluding that circumstances beyond their control are holding them back, or that, in air quotes, it's just the way things are. Steve and I have found that when we make something significant, then it becomes solid and real. It becomes a focal point for the attraction of exactly more of that. And like I said before, and in other times, look at these lovely goodies you get at the end of the chapters. Practical processes. Here are some questions that you can ask yourself. How many of the things that you've perceived about reality in relation to abundance and money have you turned into beliefs? How many of these beliefs have you been unable to let go of because you decided that that's the way it is? Will you destroy and uncreate all of those beliefs, please? And what are the infinite possibilities? Now, don't try to answer this question. Nope. What are the infinite possibilities? Just perceive the energy that this creates for you. Do you see what can happen when you create your life based on lies that you believe are true and significant? Fortunately, you can destroy and uncreate those lies and receive the wisdom of the universe by following the energy. Tools that you can use to create your business, career, or work situations, or life. Let go of control and receive what the universe is sharing with you. Something to do. Receive the information that's available by asking the universe a question. Some questions to ask. What are the infinite possibilities of having blank? What are the infinite possibilities of becoming blank? What would it take for blank to show up? What are the infinite possibilities for blank to happen? Now, instead of having a fixed plan, notice which direction the energy is going and follow it. Don't make the energy that you experience significant. Some things to do. Recognize other people's viewpoint for what they are. Don't buy into their beliefs. Discover what perceptions you've turned into beliefs, thinking that that's the way it is, and choose to destroy and uncreate those beliefs. Question to ask: how many of my perceptions about this reality in relation to abundance and money have I turned into beliefs? Discover questions that will facilitate the outcome that you desire. Questions to ask: well, what would it take for me to ask the right questions for blank to happen? What would it take for me to ask the right questions to make the most suitable decision? What would it take for me to ask the right questions to get blank accomplished? And my darlings, tomorrow we continue with whatever you would like to be, you have to be it right now, right up front. And in the meantime, toodaloo, it's been great, including the barking. You guys just got, bonus Annabeth facilitation there. I'm so grateful for Stephen and Chutisa Bowman for writing this book, for the amazing Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane who've created these amazing tools and brought them together for the rest of us. And, I would like to add a little something that Steve mentioned on one of the calls that we had when we did the 3-month kind of run from January till April or whatever that was. He said he recognized, and it took him a while to recognize this, that he has a gift, a capacity with taking something that seems complex for other people perhaps, and taking the concept and making it really, really simple. And that's the gift that's making him lots and lots of possibilities now that he's recognized it. There's so much available in his life and living because he's actually acknowledged that he's got this gift. Now, it didn't necessarily come right away, like the awareness of this gift didn't necessarily come right away, but it came from asking questions like, what is the gift and capacity that I have that I could contribute out in the world? What else is possible here? And that's really, really, really cool. When you begin asking questions, the universe begins to respond. And the gift that you be, wow, what if you've never even recognized even like the tip of the iceberg of the gift that you be in the world and the capacities and the talents that you have? And if you would just claim, own, and acknowledge them, wow, what a gift that would be in the world. So thank you for being here. We'll continue sometime tomorrow. I think tomorrow might be morning. I'm not sure. Depends on the family and what we're what we're up to, what we're doing. Got lots going on over the next couple of weeks. Thank you guys, and arrivederci. Bye.